Hi, my name is Winston and I teach naval architecture technology at Memorial University's Marine Institute. Today, I'm going to have a conversation with Pablo Sopelana. Pablo is the creator of a website called Naval App, and Naval App is an educational portal where you can study yacht design and naval architecture. We cover a broad range of topics, everything from what inspired him to start the website to begin with, all the way to how AI is impacting design and engineering education. You won't want to miss it. Stick around. Pablo, good to see you.
Good to see
Nice
you
to
as
have
well.
you on here. We have Pablo Sopelana. Am I saying that? Am I saying that right? Maybe you could
Perfectly.
say it. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sopelana, but it was quite
Sopelana.
good.
It was
Yeah,
not. Yeah.
it was very good,
Yeah.
very good.
I'll get it after a while. Yeah, you bet. So, Pablo, you are the founder of the Navalapp website, which is a yacht design and naval architecture educational portal for people to log in and join into courses and things like that. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that for sure. But before we get into that, I had just a couple of questions just about you. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about your background and your education and your work experience.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So Pablo Sopelana. So as you said before, I'm originally from Spain, but I'm now living here in Finland. So before Finland, I was living in France for many years, and there is where I met my wife, who is Finnish, and that's the explanation why we are living here now in Finland. So I'm an industrial engineer, and I specialize on electronics and control systems. And I've been working on the automotive sector for many years before starting focusing on entrepreneurship, cloud computing, and software. So this is basically let's say my background. We are now living here in Finland. We have our son Matti. Originally, our idea was to come to live here in Finland for several months, and that was in 2011. And we are still here. And I think now that we have our son and everything, so it's gonna last for many years more. So I'm very happy to be here in Finland. So no complaints. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, good. So when it comes to Naval App, what gap in engineering? Like, so what inspired you to create it, and what's the gap in engineering or design education that you're aiming to fill?
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, actually, maybe I have to say that in my family, so naval architecture, also sailing, masters, and so on. So it is part of what I have seen also in the family. So our family members who has been dedicated to the sea in their careers and so on. So this is not something that I started from nowhere. So basically, I guess that some of the background comes also from that. But I still remember when I was living in France, we went to sail during one weekend to Brittany with some friends, and after the weekend, I said to myself that I have absolutely to design a sailing yacht for myself. And I wanted to keep this as a side project for me. So I had my job and I have my daily job and everything, but I wanted to design my own sailing yacht, and that was a clear target that I gave to myself, and I was completely full into this. And so I started to read, well, first gathering all the information available and read all the documentation, books, papers, and everything I was able to find everywhere. So and I started even to prepare my first spreadsheets as well with calculations and so on. So this is, let's say, where originally the idea came. But at the same time, when I moved here to Finland, so I started to also focusing more in entrepreneurship and cloud computing and things like this. So at the moment, I saw that, well, my skills on this area, cloud computing, the internet, and so on, so we're already at a level that combined with my skills also on job design, maybe I could put something together and share it into the internet and see whether somebody else will be interested around the world and would like to come and talk to me and share this passion that I had. So this is when I started to create software for calculations. I put it into the internet, and that was, I think, like 5 years ago. And this is, well, originally the starting point from Navalapp, for Navalapp. And so people started to come. So and they were interested. Some people even put some questions. So then I decided to create the online community. So were able to talk better, to share more information, and discuss and so on. And later, the last thing that we decided to do was to bring some courses and to publish some courses on shot design. This is absolutely something that if you can see it this way. So I was just filling the gaps that I would like I would like have to have myself when I was starting. So when I was looking for information, I would like to have some courses online, also, but instructors to talk with and so on. So I wanted this that I was lacking for me to make this available for the people that will be maybe in the same situation that I was at that time. Later, as Navalapp developed, so the people coming to Navalapp, maybe it is not the same profile, but that was the original idea. So yeah, so I think that the first course that we published was like 3 years ago, and now we have a lot more of courses.
Awesome. And so I find it interesting that the inspiration wasn't that you wanted to go find a naval architect to design a yacht for you or with you. It was you wanted to do it yourself, right? It was really kind of a passion project where it was, I love what's happening here, and I really want to learn how to design this and all the physics behind it and all the stuff you were interested, right? And I think that's probably true for lots of people who would be students at Naval App, that they're not necessarily naval architects, or they maybe come by it in the same way, where they just want to learn all of this, all about sailing and those kinds of things, which I think is super interesting. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Actually, my appreciation for boats and the yachts and bigger ships and so on, it is coming through the engineering which is behind. It is could be a strange, or maybe some people can relate to this, but it is not that there are many people that they like the ship and by themselves, but I appreciate them more because of the engineering and the science behind. It is through the science and the engineering behind that made me appreciate them more and like them more. And this is how the path was. So everything started with this passion of understanding how everything works. So I was able to design my own sailing boat.
And did you? You did do that?
So I didn't finish because I started Naval App. So this is the funny thing, that because I started Naval App, I didn't have time to finish. But well, I learned a lot of things. I was primarily focusing at the beginning on hydrodynamics, aerodynamics, and things like this, but not really able to jump into more into the structure and so on. And sometimes I say, well, I would like to now stop a little and do it myself. But on the other side, I say, well, maybe my role in Navalapp, this is not my role in Navalapp. My role in Navalapp is to make everything rolling and going on. So I have to keep into that, and maybe later with a little more of time, being able to step down and more focusing more on maybe on designing myself. But now I'm more on the organization, managing, IT, and many other things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure you'll get back to it for sure. All right, so focusing in now on the Naval App site itself. Speaking of passion projects and the reason that you kind of got into this to begin with, how would you say that most of the Naval App students are kind of in the same boat, so to speak? How would you describe a typical Naval App student?
Yeah. Well, I think this is also somehow linked to your question before about the gaps. And I think we are filling some gaps. And well, actually, our students are coming. They have different profiles. At the beginning, my assumption was that they were mainly coming from the amateurs, that they wanted to create their own designs, as it was my case at that time. But quite quickly, it changed, and professional people already in the field, working in companies, or maybe as students, in naval architecture degrees or job design degrees, started to come also into the platform. So what we wanted to do, and we are still doing it, is we are closing the gaps. So, for example, gaps of there are people that they are interested in following this programs, but they don't have this in their universities around where they are living. So we are an internet platform, so we are delivering our content worldwide, and people comes from more than 80 countries right now. So many of them doesn't have the possibility of following this because they don't have a university proposing this degree very close to them. So this is a geographical gap that we are now also filling in or closing this gap. There is also the gap of the programs that already exist, even if we are not focusing exclusively on a small craft, but there are many of the programs that already exist that they don't have exactly what we are proposing. So this is a gap that some of the students come to develop their skills in these areas, or maybe dig deeper into these areas as well. And also the gap of flexibility and time, because not all the people can stop and take 1 year, 2 years, 4 years and not doing anything more than going to the university or to doing studies. So we are making things very flexible, so people that can go each step by step, doing the courses as they can, economically, or regarding time availability and so on. So we are closing also this gap for these people. So basically, coming back to your question now, so the kind of students we have, it is professionals, so that they are already working in the sector, but they are using Navalapp courses, as I said before, to dig deeper into the subject, or maybe expand their knowledge or skills development. We have as well their companies. We have more and more companies that they are sending their employees to make or to follow Navalapp courses, because they have these training programs internally for developing skills and also creating capabilities internally, maybe to tackle new projects as well, or there are new projects already coming into the company and they need people to get trained on these areas as well. And we have also the amateurs. Amateurs could be also the people that want to know more about the issue, and they have their own projects. That was my case at the beginning, or people that they didn't have the opportunity, but now they would like to make the jump and change careers and enter into the sector as well. And at the end, also we have students in the marine sector and naval architecture that they are using these courses, as I said before, for expanding knowledge, and also many of them are using also for credits that are provided by university. So if they follow naval courses, they get also in exchange some credits for their programs.
Oh wow!
So
Wow. I can definitely attest to what you're saying, because the course that I'm going to sign up for in September is the machine learning and AI course, because that's just, it's where the world is going, and I want to kind of keep up with what's going on in that kind of section as it relates to engineering and naval architecture. So I'm looking forward to that course actually.
I really I really recommend it. And this is one of the courses where there are companies sending their employees to follow the course. It is where people coming for themselves, but also very technical, skilled companies are sending their employees for training on this. So I really recommend it.
That's awesome. What sort of success stories have you had? Have you heard people who have completed some of these courses and they've gone on to do design a yacht, for example?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we are very happy with what our students are doing after the courses. So what we have seen is students from us who are now able to tackle bigger projects or different projects.
Yeah.
That's why they were coming. Actually, many of them, maybe the first contact was, well, I'm now being being inducted into a new project, and there are some things that I still don't know. Do you have this course, or do you have this that I can be trained and so on? So after that, we are very happy to see them that they are even posting on social media that now they are making projects related to what it was at the beginning a lack of knowledge, and now it is already the lack. It is not there anymore, and we are tackling new projects and so on. So this is the success stories we want to see. We see also people able to also apply for new positions as well. That before they felt that they were not ready enough, but now with their Navalapp certification of the courses they did, so they feel more supported for that. So and I see more and more companies also kind of trusting Navalapp certificates. in the industry, saying, well, if you have followed this certificate, so we really believe that you have the skills and you have the knowledge we require, so that give us trust. So yeah.
That brings me to perfectly into my next question, which is, I understand just from poking around on the site and from talking to you that some of your courses are accredited by the Royal Institute of Naval Architects. And so, how did that come about, and how does that benefit your learners? I think you almost all answered it already, but if you would, yeah, please.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good question. So many, as I said before, many of the students coming of learners coming to the platform are professionals already, and many of them are part of the of several institutions. So the opportunity of providing them, so as they are interested in following one of the courses, is if at the same time they are able to exchange the time and the effort put into the course by credits that can be exchanged for credits for professional development, which is the case that we have now with RINA. So this is very, very useful for them and very profitable or very beneficial for them. And so this is something that, yeah, for them it is very beneficial. And for us, for sure, as we are like newcomers into the sector, so having our courses endorsed by RINA or RINA, it is something that so builds trust on us and give us a kind of also credibility into the sector, because RINA it has a wide known respected institution. So it is something that we are very happy to work with them, and I'm very also very honored to work with them. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, excellent, excellent. Um, how do you choose which topics to? I know how many courses are there on the platform now? There, a couple dozen.
Yeah, it is. I think it is. Yeah, you're right. Like a couple of dozens. Yeah, I think so. Something like this. Well, this is. So we have a complete roadmap and we have a
Okay.
complete vision. So we know what we are lacking, even if it is not. So it can change, and it can be also dynamic. But we have a clear vision of what we would like to have as courses. But then on the other side, so we have to find the structure that match the course that we need from Navalapp. So this is basically the force behind the courses that we are creating. It is regarding on the if we have found an instructor who we feel that he's capable, he has the skills, and he's capable of creating the course for us. So Navalapp, it is an open platform. It's not like everybody can come and publish their courses, because we want to have a quality level, and we want to review, and we want to have also some kind of a same approach. But we are constantly looking for new instructors, and we would like to have instructors coming from many different parts of the industry, parts of the world. We think that as much different people that we can have, so we're gonna enrich our learners' experience. So we are constantly looking for new instructors. But as I said before, so basically we have this vision that for sure can be somehow adapted with some courses more or less. But what it is driving us, the way or how we decide on our next course, it is based on if we have the correct instructor for that course. And this is how we are moving.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Do you have, is it sometimes learner driven, where you may have a student or several students or a university reach out and say, hey, is it possible for you to create a course that covers this? Have you had that yet,
Yes.
or is it possible, or yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something, as I said before, so some of the students already asked for, okay, could you have maybe this kind of course, or because now I'm entering into this kind of projects and so on. So when we detect, so for other courses, we are always asking at the end of the courses, so what the students would like to see next in Navalapp. So we are recording all of this, and we have also direct conversations with some of the students and so on. So all of this is recorded that help us to work on our roadmap and in our that vision. And if we have the instructors available already, and we have the time and resources, so we go for it, because we see that now there is a demand. Or if not, we put it there, and we try now actively look for an instructor, and we look around, and finally we find an instructor, so we go and prepare the course.
Awesome. And you were going down the road of micro credentials, right? So could you explain what that is and how it benefits your learners, and maybe how it's different than what they might get at a university?
Okay. Well, if you mean micro credentials, so credentials related to courses, is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
what you
that's
mean,
right.
right?
Yeah,
So yeah, we are focusing on that, but at the same time, we are also building learning paths, and we have this target of creating a full master's degree. This is what we would like to have, but that doesn't mean that we are gonna get out of the micro credentials. So we want to provide courses with their own certificates, so that people is flexible to follow the paths they want whenever they want to do that path and not the other, so that they can build their career and also their development step by step. This is not that they have to, for example, already enroll for the full program already, so they can enroll in the next course that they want to do, depending on their necessities. So for the micro credentials, actually they are really, really helpful in the industry, because you can imagine there are the companies, so they have different posts or positions in the company, and for the different positions, normally you have a job description, and regarding the job description, you have also the list of skills that you need for the people
yes.
to join this, or to fulfill the role description. So when somebody, maybe they have found externally or internally somebody that could fit very well into that post, but there are some gaps in the skills, so they can come and choose what it is exactly the skill they need. So they can create this program. Then they are just closing the gaps and making the skills available one after one, and creating and building capabilities for the people to go and to change or go into a new position. And it's also very interesting also for companies as well, when they are creating their training programs for developing internally to their employees as well, where they have different trainings program during the year, uh, so that people are still so increasing their knowledge and building skills. Also for boarding, can be micro credentials onboarding people, can be very useful as well. So maybe there are many people coming from different backgrounds, and you would like to have a pool of micro credentials to put everybody in the same level, so that everybody can start from the same level. So this is something that can be very useful, and there are companies using Navalapp courses and micro credentials, as you call them, like this. So
Yeah, that's perfect, and I can see that because you may have the perfect candidate who's a great fit for the company, but they're just missing this one thing or these couple of small things, and having the ability for them to just do a little bit of additional training. You may have the perfect employee then. You know what I mean, or the perfect collaborator or whatever. So,
absolutely.
so a question: so this is obviously very flexible for the learner in terms of being able to sort of pick and choose what it is that they're doing, and while you have learning paths, it doesn't necessarily have to be linear, right? You can kind of jump around a little bit as you sort of see fit, and you're kind of driving a little bit your own education. How do you see the future of education as far as the student being able to kind of choose their own path rather than having to necessarily be stuck in and stuck is not the right word. I mean, universities are great. I'm not, talking negatively about universities, but the ability to have a less prescribed type of program and have a student be able to kind of pick and choose what interests them next. How do you feel, how do you think that is going to play out in the future? Do you think that that's a thing that's going to be more the future of education, or are we going to be still with the kind of prescribed degrees, or what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, I think we are going more into the first definition you said, so that people will be able to create their own programs. So it comes with some degree of responsibility as well, because you can create your own programs, but at the end, so you want to develop your career or your life in some way, that you have to be also careful that you are gonna develop the program that you need, also for following what you want to do as well. So this is something that somehow I guess the universities today so are trying to read what it is lacking in the industry, are lacking into the market, and they are trying to adapt their programs related to that. One of the difficulties there it is universities they are very big bodies, and many of them are they are very difficult to change and not very dynamic. So basically, many times for adapting what it is requiring the industry and convert it into new programs and having the instructors and so on, so requires time. So it is not that they cannot adapt automatically. Nobody can do, but they are taking a lot of time. So for example, now we were discussing before in AI. So having new programs and new courses on AI. So maybe not many universities now they have already developed programs, or I'm sure some of them yes, but some others, well, they have to put this into action. There are a lot of papers to sign before changing anything. But on the other side, well, as I said before, this is coming if you are gonna decide about your own learning. So it comes with the responsibility of what you want to achieve. So are you looking for something that is gonna match what it is requiring the industry now, or maybe we are requiring the industry in some years, or maybe you want to make it really your own path, which is completely different to the others, and also succeed in your way, or also in your path as well. This is also possible. But I think that the people will have more and more power to decide what they want to learn. And this is, I think, we have seen also this change over the years, in the last 30, 40 years, I don't know, where it started with the credits. I don't know in the English world and in Canada where you are, how it is called as well. People at the beginning, they have these are the subjects that they started with. Well, now those are the subjects, but you can still choose out of this pool of subjects which one you want to do. And also they started to be more flexible, and I think we are gonna stretch more on that direction, where the flexibility is gonna be stretched out even more.
What would you say then to skeptics who might disagree and say that this micro credentialing and the ability for a learner to kind of choose their own path will never replace or maybe replace university degrees? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think micro-credentials and full the university degrees, they serve to different purposes. So I don't think exclusive one to the other. So if you want a broad foundation in a subject, and you have the time and you have the availability and maybe sometimes the money also to do that, why not to go to a university program? But as we were discussing before, so you don't need to go out for 2 years, a full program, 2 years program, just to develop one or two skills you need for your next project or your next position, or so on. So this is where micro credentials come into place. And not to forget that micro credentials, so they are related in our case to courses, but as you have more and more courses that you are stacking in, so at the end, that becomes a bigger credential. So at the end, so you have what we want to, what we are developing learning paths, and also the full master's degree. The difference is that now you don't have to sign up and take the time and stop everything on your life to follow this in a university. So now you can do it. This is the flexibility we want to do it. You can do it wherever you are, and whenever you have the time, and you have also the money for your next course, and also building up regarding on exactly the needs or the interest you have at that moment. So it is not going into your way that at the end you will not have the full degree, but you are building with the knowledge you require and you are interested in for the next step. So this is the flexibility we were saying before. But again, I think there are two different concepts that none of it is both are there to stay, and both are very important. And let's say that the focus and the purpose of each one is different, and they are complementary. But we are, let's say, accommodating for a different need, or we are providing different services. This is
right. Yeah, that totally makes sense. The other thing too is as you know, I teach at a university as well, and it was years that we had people in our faculty who were of the opinion that, oh, there's no way we can teach engineering online. It's just impossible. You have to be in the classroom. You have to be with the student, and then the pandemic happened, and everyone was forced to go online.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how quickly we all sort of adapted to be able to do it. And then even some of the skeptics now they would argue that the education for the student wasn't as good probably, but instead of it can't be done, it's maybe it can be done, but we have to have a different approach to how we do it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's true for a lot of technologies that are sort of coming online too. And it kind of brings me to my next question for you. In terms of AI, we spoke about AI earlier, and I think AI is going to be a revolutionary thing, and it is a revolutionary thing in a few different ways. And one of them is on the design side, which I want to ask you about, but also on the education side, which I also want to ask you about. We're at the university I teach at, we're sort of just beginning to get our heads wrapped around what teaching is going to look like 3 years or 4 years from now, or what do we need to be preparing for, and what is the student going to be looking for when you have the absolute top-notch naval architecture instructor on your iPad at any time you want, in any language or any accent that you want. Where does that leave us with formal education? So we're struggling with all of these concepts and things. So my question for you is, what do you think are the biggest opportunities that you see for AI in transforming engineering and design education in the next 5 years? So I'll break that into two pieces. AI in design first, and then AI in design education second. So maybe you could tackle it like that.
Okay. Let me come back to the former question and the comments you did. I think these new questions, or two questions, are very, very important, and it's going to be a lot to say or discuss over there. But regarding your last question about the skeptics, so at the end, we humans need this interaction. So this is where also the on-site programs are very interesting for many people as well. And what we are doing in Navalapp is, so we have this online education, but we have also these online classes or classrooms where people can interact with each other. The students can talk to each other, they can share videos, documents, and so on, and they can also have access and put questions to the instructors as well. So this is the way how we are handling it. So we are trying to replicate how the interactions in a full on-site classroom will be, but this is an online education. So with the benefits that brings the online education, as I was mentioning before, there's our flexibility, step by step, and so on. Mm-hmm. But at the end, you're right saying that, we need this kind of interaction as well. Regarding AI, this is a very complex, very, very complex question. So AI is going to change the landscape, definitely. So it is something that is going to change a lot of things. So you can imagine what we have seen, through history, when there is a new revolution and there is a lot of occupations or jobs wipe out, and they're new creating and so on. And people have to adapt. So, for example, coming from the more rural societies to more industrial-based societies, where many of the jobs or people were moving to one to another, then maybe the robotization or automatization of the lines of production. So many of the manual work was also lost. Knowledge technology or knowledge society as well, with internet and so on. And now AI is going to also, this kind of change is going to happen. So hopefully, and that is my wish, and I think at the end it's gonna be like this, and then I'm gonna maybe argue why I think it is. So the technology will be so at our service, so that we don't become at the service of the technology. So I think all the technology in per se is good, but we have to be sure that it serves to the human purpose and not the other way around, or that we are not a slave to the technology or we are just serving the technology is serving us. So this is my wish. So how it's gonna let's say change design? So well, in many ways, I don't know if you have sit down with any of the AI already providers and try to design, at least a modeling or 3D view or rendering of a sailing yacht that you can just feed with a lot of or another kind of craft. With you can just put some make good prompts and also share some images and so on. So finally, yeah, it is the process is being refined more and more and getting better results. So you can easily have a completely new, good looking model of a new craft, very, very easy. So you don't have to spend many hours doing, by yourself, these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, you need always the human uh, interaction, because there's must be somebody to say, well, the result of it is valid or not, and for that you need still experience. So this is not something that technology will increase their knowledge and they will learn and so on, but at the end it is somebody who has to decide, so this is useful or not useful. So I think it's going to have a huge impact in design. Um, let's see how it develops. But also, I guess that at the same time, new fields and new ways of interacting and new jobs are going to develop around, where the skills and the knowledge is still necessary, maybe in another way, so that you can interact with the new tools. So this is another example as well. So we saw this when everybody were drawing making the drawings by hand, and then the new tools with the computers came, so the skills completely changed. But there's still there are people involved into with some of the software tools and so on. So my guess is that it's going to be the same. So the tools will change, the way we interact with the tools and the processes and the results are going to change, but we still need some ways of interacting with these new tools we are going to create or are going to be created.
Yeah.
So for education, so I think it's going to be the same. So so it's going to change a lot, uh, but at the end, basically it is the same. So it will be, so it is opening a lot of new opportunities, creating content or even getting translated this content automatically into many languages, or you can now reach with the same content, courses or whatever to many different cultures and backgrounds. This is something that it was not even, it was not even possible some years ago, and you
That's
have
right.
to make a lot of effort. But yeah, but somehow somebody has to be in charge of that. So somebody has to be. So we will see new jobs developing and new skills uh, develop into the area. And there is a lot of things happening now, and but new tools and many people working with AI. But that remember always, I always remember when I have my first email, maybe many years ago already,
Yes. Yeah.
my first email account, when I tested and say, well, this is gonna change my work life. It's gonna be easier. So I'm gonna be happier. I will have more time, more productive. I can have time for looking into other things, you know. But at the end, everybody got their email address as well. So
That's
it
right.
was the new basis there. So there was not advantage anymore for anybody. So the only thing is that at the end now we are running more. I'm working faster because emails now it is not making any difference. So everybody's expecting answers in 1 minute or 2 minutes. I'll
That's
always
right.
be connected and so on. So this is something that we have to take care also of the new technology. So AI now is bringing new power, and you can just use this power. Maybe some people will create some advantages that they can keep for several years, but at the end, everybody is going to be able to use this new technology. So it's going to change the landscape for everybody, and we will be in a new, completely set an environment, and we will be used to work for it. And at the end, we will be also running, working fast
Yeah.
under the new conditions.
Right. Oh, those are excellent points. Actually, I hadn't thought about the thing that, you know, everybody will have it. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a certain few that will have it. If everybody has it, then it's just becomes a tool.
Yeah.
We're working with a company here, a startup here in St. John's, and their focus in AI is to they want to have AI take care of all the regulatory part of the design process, right? So it's built into the tools. So they're designing these tools to plug into the different CAD softwares like Rhino, AutoCAD, and even some of the bigger things like Siemens and so on. And what they want to do is their goal is to bring the joy back into the design process where the humans get to do all the creative fun stuff and the AI is doing all the slog, the weight studies and, all the horrible things that everybody hates doing. So I thought that was a pretty admirable way to do the AI part of it. And I hope that they're able to, and I'm sure there's many companies working on those kinds of things for sure.
I think this is a good approach. If we can make AI with this focus on making our life funnier, so we are just focusing on things that we feel that we bring value and we feel so that we are not losing the time. So this is a very good example of using AI for the good. So for a good reason. So this is something really to develop on this way. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent. Do you think that AI will ever, and I'm asking you to gaze into your crystal ball here and predict the future, I realize. Do you think that there'll come a time when AI will completely replace engineering or design education where we won't need the humans anymore, maybe only for the latest and greatest things that are being developed? The fundamentals of naval architecture are well established, even engineering are well established. So is that something that could be handed off to an AI as well, do you think? Or what do you think?
Well, I'm thinking, as you were saying the question, I'm thinking, well, if we don't need people anymore in engineering education, that must be because we don't need engineers, humans anymore as well. So if if all the education we need for becoming engineers, so why it is coming through AI? What is the need for becoming an engineer itself? So that the AI will be also able to do it. So my first hope it is that it will not come. So I as you said before, so I don't have this crystal ball myself, but my first hope it is that it will never happen. And on the other side, I also taking a look into the history, as I said before. So humans has been always part of the equation, and they are always important or the fundamental part of the equation. That's true that this is in generalization. Then for the individual person that is going to feel this wave of change, so it will be maybe for some of the people it will be difficult to go through, but in a general ways, I think that humans will be still in charge of many things. But I think that this interaction between humans and we are, as you said before, you put a very good example. If we are able to make AI a tool that it interact with humans at our service to make our life easier, and so that we can release more power and release more capabilities of creating greater things, greater ideas, more valuable things, and so on. So that will be a powerful use of the technology for us. Is on the other side, so the technology is only here, and we want to step down and give all the power to that, so that we become less human as ourselves. So it's going to be a complete disaster, and it will not last for many time because people will not accept this in any case. So I have also some I was thinking as well as some example here. For example, in the school where my kid goes, and in many schools now here throughout Europe, I guess, maybe also in North America as well, in Canada. So for many years they wanted to replace normal books with tablets and screens and so on, because they wanted to make people, the kids already what it is called here. It is a digital native, so they are from the beginning they know how to use this technology. But after a while, those programs have been running, so they have found out that the results are totally a disaster. So many of this now it is being undone. Many of the schools now, for example, my kids' school now, they have forbidden the use of tablets of this kind of technology in the classes, because they want the normal interaction, they want books, they want people to talk to each other and so on, because the learning outcomes and how people develop, it is even better. So this is, I think we are going to see as well this when AI, we will think that they will be able to do everything, but we will see that the results are not uh, uh, what the human being it is expected. So we will try to redefine everything so that fix what we need more than that, to be at the service of the technology itself. At least this is my hope for it,
Yeah,
or,
I
or my
think
or my
too.
wish.
Right. Yeah. Good thoughts, actually. And I think that to your point about our young people becoming digital natives, I think they're already that. I don't think they need any help to become digital natives. They're already there for sure.
Yeah.
So another question I have for you is, how do you see? And you've answered this already to some degree. Is how do you see the role of universities evolving with the rise of online, very affordable education? I mean, some of the degrees. I'm not sure about the costs in Europe, but certainly the costs in Canada for a university degree, even an undergraduate degree, can be really expensive depending on what school you go to. And in the U.S., it's astronomical. I know that in some places in Europe, the cost is paid for by the taxpayer, and I think Finland might be one of those places, which is terrific. So how do you see, universities, competing with? I think that the price, in some ways, it's price prohibitive to go to school. So I think that in some ways, having an online education may be the way of the future anyway, with AI enhancements or whatever. Tell me a little bit about what you think about that.
Yeah. That those are very, very good thoughts. But actually, as I said before, so I don't think that the universities and online education, they serve two different purposes and two different needs. So, I think for a while, many universities were focusing also on creating online content as well. I think I don't see that much anymore. But this kind of MOOC things or MOOC, I don't know
That's
how do
right.
you pronounce it in English.
Yeah.
So I think it is not that popular now that maybe 5, 10 years ago.
Right.
So somehow they are not focusing a lot on that anymore. But it is still there is still a need for the university as it is today. So as I said before, so if you have people gathering together, spending time, going through the learnings, creating relationship, also talking with the instructors. There are also possibility of labs, physical labs that people work on, and so on. So this is a really interesting thing. Then the problem if it is maybe not regarding the university, it is the cost of the university itself. So this is maybe a completely different question. So how we can tackle the cost so that people can follow the university. So this is also we can think about that. But on the other side, so the online education, it is not for that kind of people that can afford the time, and they are and also going to another city, and maybe they are already working, they have a family, or they are doing some of the things that they cannot stop. This kind of flexible education, micro credentials, as we were mentioning before, so it is made for this kind of people that they cannot afford this or for any reason to go to university, stop everything in their lives, spend 3, 4 years, 2 years, 1 year, whatever it is. So now we can make it flexible. It is with some benefits. Maybe you are lacking to have the instructor just in front of you, but you will have the instructor and you have access to the instructor as well, and you will have also interaction with the instructor through the quizzes. All courses in Navalapp, they have their own final assignment where you work offline and you upload to the platform also, and you have interaction with regarding the grading by the instructor and so on. So yeah, I think both are necessary. Both approaches are necessary, and both are here to stay. So we can maybe find ways of collaborating more each other. So there are maybe some subset of people coming to online education that will be like also to be involved in somehow universities. So maybe this is something that we can collaborate online education universities as well. And on the other side, will be also a subset of students going to universities that they will be also very interested in expanding their knowledge or being more involved in online education. This is where maybe we can find some synergies. Some platforms like Navalapp could also work with some already established universities and make this kind of bring in some new ideas and provide value to the learners, because we are into that. So we want to create value to the learners and provide outcomes, learning outcomes for them. So this is our target there. Yes.
Fantastic. So Pablo, thank you for being here today, and really appreciate your time and your insights on just engineering education and AI, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing at Navalapp. And I just wanted to ask you, is there anything else you wanted to say about Navalapp before we stop today?
Yeah. So regarding Navalapp, so we are an online platform. So now I think it is clear for everybody after the discussion. So we are an online platform where we are proposing and making accessible knowledge worldwide about yacht design and naval architecture. So we have students for more than 80 countries now. And also we have a very vibrant community of already almost 4,000 people in the community, on the online community as well. So it is made of students and not non-students. So as I said before, we are always looking for new instructors. So what we have now, it is, you can see that the spectrum of the instructors we have, it is more into the middle-aged, younger people, because maybe they are more used into the technologies, videos, they have been growing up with all these kind of things, and maybe people that are a little bit older than that, so they feel that that could be a little odd, or they don't know how to tackle the technology. That the thing I have to say, it is the learning curve, it is very, very, very fast, and not too many things to learn. So if there's some instructors that they feel that they would like to share their knowledge with the whole world, and they would like to do it with us, just feel free to contact us or contact me, and we will discuss, and we will make sure that we will have a very, very nice new course for the people, or for the people interested. So on my side, thank you very much, Winston. It has been a pleasure to talk to you. It has been a very nice conversation, and I'm very happy to spend this time with you. So thank you very much.
All right, Pablo. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.